Hello everyone, it's Infinity Gamer here, and wow, we've had an intense couple of days from Corvus Belli. I mean, what hasn't been released in the last couple of days? There has been obviously more action-packed. That seems like old news now in comparison to everything else that's come out. But the big focus has been these changes to the Fireteam rules, and wow, they are extensive. It's mind-blowing just how much this has changed the game in total. Sensibly, Corvus Belli are releasing this as a separate digital edition outside of the main rules, and it's sensible for two reasons. One, it means that the core game remains very much the same, but it means that as they try and bed in these quite complex rule sets, they can make adjustments on the fly in real time to the army builder and to the PDF without having, print books that come out of fashion very quickly. I wonder who does that frequently. But anyway, enough about that. These Fireteam rules are extensive and they're quite complicated. So what I've done is I have spent several hours diving through the rules to try and understand them, to put them into a very simple video for you to understand. If you can't be bothered to do that, or if you've had a read and you don't understand them, or if you're getting conflicting information from everyone else online. So this is my best shot at giving you all the information you need to understand the new Fireteam rules and what it means for you. Why? Why change the Fireteam rules? It's, in my opinion, because I don't know exactly the conversations that were had around the Corvus Belli table, in my opinion, there was imbalance, but there was also the opportunity for them to bring some more fluff in via the Fireteam rules. Now, for those that aren't familiar with them, you have in N4, your armies are in two flavors, vanilla and then sectorial. In vanilla, you can take any model that range has pretty much, and that's what you get for going vanilla. But then if you go sectorial, you get a narrow model range, but you can combine some of those units into groups that then get bonuses and buffs that vanilla doesn't have. That's changed a little bit with Fireteams because you can now get a little bit of those Fireteams in vanilla now. Duos. So all a duo is, when we're going to talk about Fireteams, is that you might have a pair of units, a pair of models, and by spending one regular order on one of those, you can move and stuff with two. If you've never ever heard of sectorials before and you've got no idea what I'm banging on about, you might want to watch that video up there. It's old because it does talk about the old version of sectorials, which was much simpler. But it will give you the basics as to what a sectorial is, how they work, how you spend orders on them. So definitely watch that before you watch this, because this is a bit more complicated than all of that stuff. So let's talk about the new stuff, primary changes. Fundamentally, Fireteams now are broken down into several different segments. One of them is the group itself, so its size and its composition. That's kind of two separate groups. And then you've kind of got like fluff pairings and groupings as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the easy end of the scale and then move down to the more complicated end of the scale, so that you can jump out and tap out when you're kind of done. The first bit of the new Fireteam setup is actually pretty much the old Fireteam setup. So that's what most people are going to be familiar with. It fundamentally is size. So however many units you have in that Fireteam, you will unlock certain bonuses as a result of that. So for example, a duo or a 2-unit Fireteam will have just the bonus that you can move 2 units with each other. I've popped the bonuses up there so that you can actually see what that means, but it doesn't matter any of the stuff I'm about to talk about. Size is one bonus structure in this new Fireteam rule. So that's that. The benefit here is that when we go into the next structure or vertical, which is composition, it kind of doesn't matter how this is composed. Well, it does a little bit, I'll obviously explain that, but you will always unlock this size structure of bonuses. So there we go, so we've got the size down of your Fireteam, so keep that in mind. And now we go into composition and structure. And there's two main structures you've got, and kind of like a third extra one, which is a bit more complicated. The first one is a mixed Fireteam. Now, when you look at these sorts of charts, and I've got one up here now, and you see that it is a named fire team, if you group a whole bunch of these together, it could potentially be a mixed fire team. Now, these are the easiest ones to create, and these are the ones that some people will gravitate towards because they're familiar. Now, in a mixed fire team, you don't get any additional bonuses because you've kind of cherry-picked some great unit from here, an average unit from here to kind of complement each other. You still get the size bonuses that we first looked at. If you've got a 5-man mixed fire team or a 3-man mixed fire team, you'll get the 3-unit benefit here. But what you won't be getting is the composition bonus, which is what some people are talking about. There's a whole bunch of other names that are being bandied about because composition is kind of already a well-known and well-used term in fire teams. Whether it's true or like correct or pure fire team is one of the ones that I think we've stuck to in our local group. So a pure fire team can be made on 2 different conditions. So when we talk about making a pure fire team, there are 2 real ways you can do this. You can have your fire team made up of all of the same unit. So a prime example is in this Celestial Guard fire team, you could have 5 Celestial Guards. And that would be a pure 5-person corps. So you'd get the benefits of it being a 5-person corps, 5-person fire team. Plus, because all of those 5 are the same unit, you'd get these additional composition bonuses too. The other way to do that, by not having all of the same units in that fire team, is to look at the brackets that are next to a unit when it looks at fire team composition. So a prime example here is a Guangxi fire team that we've got here. So you've got the option to actually take Guangxi units, and you could take up to 4 of them in this core fire team. But then you've also got Celestial Guard Monitor with Guangxi in background, in brackets. Now that means that it counts as Guangxi for the composition, which means that if you had a Celestial Guard Monitor, one of those, and then 4 Guangxi, that would count as a 5-unit Guangxi corps, and you would get the bonuses of it being a 5-unit corps. Hopefully you're with me. It actually kind of makes sense when you start to look at the packs and the data sheet. So if you want just the 5-unit corps, you can mix and match them under those names. So you could have whatever you like, so long as it fits under that category, but you'll only get the number bonus. If you want the composition bonus, they need to make sure it's all of the same unit, or they've got the brackets that kind of align them. So you consider those brackets as kind of like fire team keywords. And if they share the keyword, then it kind of counts as being in the same unit. The thing to remember is that as fire teams break down, you might end up with a mixed fire team that then becomes a pure fire team in a little bit. So for example, you may have 4 Nyokas and an Epsilon in this O12 mixed fire team. And it's a corps to start with. It's a 5-person corps, but it's mixed, so you only get the 5-person benefits. You lose your Epsilon, as I do every single time I take an Epsilon. Now you've got a 4-person corps, but because they're all Nyokas, that is now a pure 4-person corps. And so you get the 4-person benefit, then you get the 4 pure composition bonus as well. So sometimes losing a unit in a fire team could be good because it could unlock certain bonuses. Now, I wanted this to be a quick update on fire teams and the new composition and kind of getting your head around how it is. I actually think this kind of makes sense once you've gotten your head around how different it is to the existing fire team structure. I hope this video has been helpful in helping you understand the new fire team compositions, the bonuses, how everything works, and the new era of fire teams that we're in. If you've got any questions, please jump in the comments. I'll happily do my best to answer or point you in the direction of someone who actually knows what's going on. But thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more Infinity content as it comes. Catch you soon.